You're on.
Hi everybody, and welcome to our Results Academy that we have every Thursday, fortnight, every Thursday of a fortnight. Tonight, over the next 2 weeks, we're showcasing coaches. So I'm first cab off the rank, so I'm going to share my story with you all tonight. And the whole purpose of these Results Academies are to kind of help you if you're new to boot camp and to the Herbalife products to, we get a bit overwhelmed. And sometimes when you're first starting, you get a bit scared to ask questions and you get thrown by other people's opinions because we'll always get them thrown at us when we're starting something new. So the Results Academy are basically to help you navigate through the vortex of information and take on tips and tricks that other people use to smash their result and get to their healthiest, happiest version of themselves. So my name's Nat Donnelly. I've been with Herbalife as a product lover to start with back in 2015. I'm a single mum of 3 boys. I work part-time and I also live with MS. So I had been on the medication treadmill with doctors and specialists for 2.5 years prior to finding Herbalife. And I was always a big believer in clean, organic, whole food eating. So that's all that I did. I'll just go to the next. Oh no, I'll go back. Sorry. I was spending a fortune on organic foods because I thought, real food has to be the answer to help me along the way. Cost a fortune, as you all know. Feeding yourself organically, it does cost a fortune, and I was seeing no benefit from it. I kept persevering, but my MS actually attacked my vagus nerve, so part of my digestive system is now paralyzed because of that. So I actually struggle to eat whole food. So my neurologist and GP and naturopath advised me to try and find a liquid replacement that would give me everything I needed. So I was like kind of forced into finding something that ticked all the boxes. And so I decided, okay, I'll go researching myself because I tried the juicing thing and just couldn't get used to the texture and tried a lot of different things. I also suffered from a couple of other things that I'll go into later, but Herbalife, when I did the research, ticked all the boxes. So that's how I came to find Herbalife, and it absolutely, hands down, is the key to what's given me my quality of life back. I'm back being the active mum with my boys. I can do stuff now instead of, I was bedridden for 2.5 years. So it was a real kick in the guts when you're 40 being told that this is how your life's going to be. So at the time I started, I'd ballooned to the biggest I had ever been because of all the medication. When you have MS flare-ups, they whack you in hospital and you get infusions of steroids. So I was just puffing up. I was just so puffy. Just around underneath my arms was 127 centimeters, and I'm now 60 something around just underneath my arms. So that kind of tells you how puffy I had gotten. Horrible. My metabolic age was 55, and like I said to you, at the time I was 40, so that just horrified me. And my visceral fat was 9, so not too bad. Like healthy is between 1 and 8, so it wasn't super bad, but still, not where I want to be, especially when I've always been a fit, healthy person. So before Herbalife, the things that I struggled with, so as I said, I had multiple sclerosis. I also had been working with my doctor and my naturopath for 6 years prior to being diagnosed with MS to try and get on top of my leaky gut syndrome. So if I had $1 for every different diet, miso soup, or, all these different diets that they put me on to try and help with the leaky gut, I could do a round world trip, I think, and take someone with me. So it was a struggle trying to get on top of the leaky gut syndrome. It really is, I think a lot of people probably have leaky gut syndrome and don't realize that they've got it. So, we all know the gut is the key to everything. And I certainly found that out through my journey. I suffered from extreme fatigue, extreme pain every day. Like, I can't even explain the pain that you get with it. At the time, starting as well, I had most days bedridden. So on my very worst day, I can remember this just like it was yesterday. The boys came in to say goodbye to me. They were heading off to school for the morning, and I couldn't even lift my arms up to hug them goodbye. I could move my eyes, but I couldn't move any other part of my body, and it just killed me as a mum. You know, you want to be able to hug your kids and say goodbye to them and wish them well for the day, but I couldn't even, just from pure fatigue, I couldn't even lift my arms up to hug them goodbye. So that just killed me. You get anxiety because you're down on yourself, and you also get fearful when you're so weak and in pain. If you do go, like on a good day, I'd sometimes go with either a family member who was doing the shopping, but I'd go from the car to the seat and sit with all the old men who sit and wait for their wives to do the shopping. Had great conversations with them, but that's as far as I could get. But you'd be scared with walking because I'd worry that I was going to fall over or something was going to happen. So anxiety would start building, and be easier to stay home than to go venture out and try and push the boundaries a bit, to do a bit of exercise. Migraines were debilitating. My MS affected me cognitive wise too. So I would just black out and totally forget conversations. Born and bred here in Townsville, going for a drive, I had to stop driving because I could be driving along and then all of a sudden everything looked not familiar at all. So I wouldn't even know where I was. I used to have panic attacks when that first started happening, but I taught myself to just pull over, close my eyes and slow breathing, deep breathing until I open my eyes again, and then I go, right, now I know where I am. And I just laugh at myself in the end because what else can you do? But I did stop driving there for a while. I also was working at the university at the time, and I had 18 staff under me, and it became like a game of charades because sometimes I go like I've had a stroke, that my tongue just won't move to say the words that I want to say. So to become like a game of charades, they actually used to laugh at me because, that was the only way I could communicate with them. So at 40, I hated it. I had a dilly bag full of medication because I was on trial drugs, and then there was side effects to the trial drugs. So they'd give you medication for the side effects, and then you'd need medication for the side effect medication, if that makes sense. Like, it was kind of snowballing. And I was just on this medication treadmill and feeling like I wasn't getting any better for it. Part of being on the trial drug, it absolutely took away my immune system. So the whole time I was on this trial drug, I had no immune system whatsoever. So if my kids got sick, I would have to leave the house, or I would have been hospitalised because they all got chickenpox at one stage, and I had to go and stay at my mum's because I couldn't be in the house, or I would have ended up in hospital quite ill. So just horrible, and when your kids have to keep coming and seeing you up in the hospital or seeing you in bed, it's just not the way you want to live life. So I just before I found Herbalife, the neurologist actually said to me, he gave me 6 months and I'd be in a wheelchair with the rate my MS was progressing. So I'm actually glad he said that, because it made me kind of wake up. I could have just taken what he said and went, well, this is what, being dealt to me, and I have to just deal with this. But it made me more determined to research myself and try and find solutions for myself. And I really wanted to try and find something that was natural without all the medication, and see if I could manage my symptoms through good nutrition and all the rest of it without having any medications and the side effects that come along with that. So like I said before, Herbalife, I always clean organic ate, so I had a healthy diet. I did skip meals because I was in bed all the time and I'd be sleeping, so it'd be nothing for me to skip breakfast because I'd sleep in. and then I'd wake up in time to have lunch and things like that. My biggest downfall was coffee. It was really bad. I was having 10 cups of coffee a day, which is terrible. So that didn't help my cause. Water intake, not great. Once again, I've always loved water, but it was just, I was in bed all the time sleeping, so I just wasn't getting the water in. I couldn't exercise at all. I needed help to walk from the bedroom to the lounge room. I was stubborn and refused to get a wheelie walker or a walking stick. I just try and, get along without caving into, getting something like that, which is a bit silly when I think about it now, but that was just the headspace I was in. I was like, this isn't going to get me. I'm not going to let it. Like I said, the doctors had given me 6 months and I'd be in a wheelchair. And previous to the MS diagnosis, I was doing boot camp 5 days a week, and it was a hard slog boot camp. I swam in between that, and I always, had to really work hard at keeping my weight down. Like, I was never a really big person, but especially after the kids, from your hips, your bum, legs area, I was a real pear-shaped. So really had to work at making sure that the bottom of the pear didn't get too big, if you know what I mean. So, but I had the mindset too, to keep in shape and to keep trim, you have to be exercising like crazy. That was my mindset. So 5 days a week plus swimming, and I'd get up and do Castle Hill some mornings as well. So I just consumed me trying to squeeze that into an already busy lifestyle. So today I am now 70 kilos. My metabolic age is 32, and my visceral fat has dropped down to 6. In the beginning, in the first 12 months that I was on Herbie, I lost the 20 kilos and 155 centimeters, and that was all without any exercise because I couldn't exercise. So it really proved to me and blew me away that I had got my hands on a product that had my back. It was making me healthier. I had an extra bounce in my step. And for someone who was bedridden, to be able to say, like, I just couldn't believe that extra bounce in my step. It blew me away. So I knew that I was going to be on these products for the rest of my life. There was no way I'm going to skip a day whatsoever. I've gone on to tweak that a bit more. So I've dropped an extra 3 kilos and a few other centimeters since then, but that's exercising and everything as well. So it just shows you, people's mentality is they've got to flog themselves with exercise just to stay fit. Don't get me wrong, exercising is great for your mental health, and also, you need to get good cardio fitness and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't exercise, but a lot of people, especially with injuries or illnesses, they kind of give up and go, well, I can't exercise, so what's the point? But I think I'm a real testament to the products helping, especially people in wheelchairs. Like, the products are great for them because they can't exercise as much. So these products are great in helping anyone, no matter your age or what your predicament is, really. So yeah, that was a total of 23 kilos gone forever, which I'm so grateful for. And I've dropped 15 years on my current age. So I'm 47 now. I've had another MS flare up, but I've got a lot of stresses going on in my life at the moment. So in my personal world, so that has really highlighted to me too, how much stress impacts us. So it's so important to, make sure you're looking after yourself mental health wise and taking time for yourself and finding joy in everything you do, just to keep on top of that, because stress is a huge factor that can knock us into bad health really quickly. Okay, so yep, dropped 3 points with the visceral fat. So since starting Herbalife, like I said, I just can't believe the changes. So within 5 months on the products, my GP did another leaky gut test, and I no longer had leaky gut. So 6 years prior, trying everything that they had in their toolbox to try and fix leaky gut, nothing was working. And 5 months on the products and my leaky gut was gone, just blew me away, blew my naturopath away, and blew my GP away. So they were on board. My energy improved. I couldn't believe, like I said before, that extra bounce in my step. Just can't put a price on that. Like, that just has changed my life. Anxiety has improved. I have more good days now than bad days. Like I said, I'm in the middle of a flare up at the moment, but you know, I'm just being on point with everything and allowing my body to rest when it needs to. I rarely get migraines now. I might get one a month, if that, where I was getting a couple a week or more beforehand. Up until just these last 2 weeks with my flare up, I was able to exercise. So I was doing the fitness runs with the boot camp. When we had the 2 different locations, I was running the location at Belgium Gardens. Just love exercise now. Like, I'm so grateful that my legs are working and able to carry me where I want to go. And, you know, just to be able to get out and play with the kids again. And this weekend, we're off to Maggie Island for the weekend. So, you know, able to do things and go on nature walks. I also was able to participate in the 12-hour MS Swimathon. I always was a spectator, cheering my son on, who always swam in it. But a couple of years ago, I was able to swim in it as a participant. And, you know, that feeling of complete joy and overwhelm that after my first half-hour swim, I just couldn't stop crying with joy that I was able to do it. You know, to think I was told there was no hope left for me. I just had to settle for what they forecast for my future, and here I was swimming in a 12-hour swimathon. So never say never, and don't ever lose hope. You know, there's always hope there. Cognitive issues have definitely improved, and I was able to return to work. So that was a big thing, because that knocks you, you know, your own self-worth too, when you've always been able to provide for your family, and then all of a sudden you feel like you're a burden and everyone's, you know, having to do things for you when you're not able to financially contribute. So to be able to return to work was a big one for me, because I've always been an ambitious person and love to, you know, be working and doing things. So that really was great. And, you know, once again, being an active mum again, I can't, you know, even my middle son graduated last year, and they have the mother-son dance at his graduation. I was able to do that. How cool is that? You know, there was a time there when I thought, oh man, I'm going to miss out on dancing with my sons at their graduation. I wasn't, you know, didn't think I'd be able to do that. And I was up there shaking my thing and dancing with him. So it was super cool. So like I said, I always did clean, organic eat. So I just continued that, but I was more on point with how regular I ate once I got on the products. So every 2 to 3 hours, pretty much I eat, depending on the day and how work's going, but I never let it go past that 3-hour mark. I'm mindful about protein. Now, I did decide to, because I still suffered from nerve pain really bad, even after being on Herbie for a while. It got rid of the muscle pain and that, but the nerve pain was still there. So I did more research and made the choice myself that I would go vegan. I was vegan for 9 months, but I was still getting my protein. So you can still get your protein and all the things you need through just plant-based. So that got rid of my nerve pain. So I was pretty much, up until just these last 2 weeks, I haven't suffered from the pain and the nerve pain because of Herbalife and, you know, being mindful about what I'm putting in my mouth. I've swapped coffee for the Herbie teas. Love the Herbie teas. How good are they? My portion sizes are now correct. I always drink, like, gosh, a day wouldn't go by that I'm not having at least 3 litres, but sometimes I can have up to 5 or 4 litres a day. I'm consistent with taking the products. I'm actually in that mindset that I don't want to go backwards. So even with this flare up, it's really scared me, because I had got a little bit slack with some things. But, you know, I'm just back on point now, and I know it's not going to be long and I'll turn it back around. I still be human. I teach all my clients, like, I want you to have your moments where you have a pizza or chocolate if you feel like that. You know, you've still got to be human. You still want to participate in family celebrations and things like that. It's about a lifestyle. It's not a diet. I see a diet as a start and a finish. That's it. Where our philosophy and way of thinking is a lifestyle, and it wants, you know, to take you through for the rest of your life, and you don't want to feel like you've got limits, that you can't just be you and join in and have fun. But, you know, like with everything, there's always healthier choices. But, you know, if you look at a week, if the majority of your week, if 90% of your week is healthy and good, you can, you know, have that 10% where you be a bit naughty. So be human, don't be scared to do that, and trust the products that they've got your back, because they honestly do. It's incredible how much these products have your back. And meal prep, I think that's my biggest tip as well. Don't be organized, because if you're not organized, that's when you, like, you know, when you get over hungry and you just get frantic and then you'll grab whatever. I think if you're prepared, and I like to call it making your own fast food, that you open the fridge and it's there ready to grab. So create your own fast food, so you don't ever leave yourself short. So that's what I've implemented in my life now. When I first got started, I started on a trial pack. At that time, I had tried so many things. So my husband at the time used to roll his eyes and go, "What are you trying now? How much is this going to cost?" So I thought, for me, just to try it, because I nearly went on the products to prove they weren't going to work, because I already had in my head, here's another thing, I'll give it a go, but it'll be another thing that's not going to work. So I thought, I'll just pay the money for the trial pack, and if it doesn't work, it's not a big expense. So but I honestly, within the 3 days, I can remember ringing my mum, because she did trial pack as well to support me. We did it together. And I rang her and I went, "I don't know if it's in my head, but I honestly feel like I've got an extra bounce in my step." I couldn't believe it. It was only 3 days. And this is someone who was bedridden. My mum is, at the time, she was 72. Excuse me. And mum's a person you can't go window shopping with, because she runs, like, she never goes slow. And mum goes, "Me too, I've got an extra bounce in my step." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, we're going to have to run to keep up to you, mum. We're not going to be able to chase you." So it blew us both away. Being mindful, I didn't go through a detox. Everyone is different, and some people go through a detox, but I'm not a drinker, I'm not a smoker. I was clean organic eating, so I was doing all the right things prior to starting. So I think I was worried, thinking I would go through a detox because of all the medications I was on, but I personally didn't. But I've got lots of clients who do go through that, detox. So everyone's different. And then after the 3 days, I was like, right, I want to get on these products. So I got onto the shake, the multivitamin, and because I was focused on gut health, I did the probiotics, the aloe. I did the tea. I credit the tea to curbing my sweet tooth. Definitely helped with that and got me through that caffeine addiction that I had. And I was on the cellulose as well, to try and help bring down that swelling that I had all around my body from the steroids. And as my discount grew, I just started introducing more products. And before I knew it, I was on the Ultimate program, plus the Chitosan and Herbalife line. I couldn't take the Rose Guard while I was still on the trial drug, because you couldn't take anything that was boosting your immune system while I was on something that was suppressing my immune system. So I wasn't on that, but I have to say, even being on just those first few products, the shake and the multivitamin, the probiotic and the aloe, I didn't get sick. Like, normally the kids would come home with the snuffles from school and I would get it, but I'd be knocked down worse. But being on those products and on the trial medication that I was on, I didn't get sick, which blew me away as well, because I was always getting sick. But then I made the decision myself that I wanted to go off my medication, because I was feeling stronger and feeling so much better within myself. My doctor wasn't too happy about it, and I'm not saying everybody needs to do that at all, but it was a personal decision that I made. And I just had the mindset that if I don't give it a go, I'll never know. If I have to go back onto medication, so be it, but I just needed to know whether it would work or not. So I went off the medication and went on the Rose Guard, and I don't remember the last time I had a flu or anything like that. So for someone who had absolutely no immune system to then go onto the Rose Guard and all the products, I think it's like all of them together just working incredibly. I've not ever had a flu or been sick since starting the product. So I think that speaks volumes as well. And there's not a day that I miss taking these products. They are part of me now, and I bleed green. And if I never made another cent from these products, with being a coach now, I would still recommend them and still take them, even if I didn't make another cent. So I definitely bleed green, that's for sure. So exercise, like I said, I started exercising, did the swimathon, I did boot camps. I had a goal. So I started in December 2015 on the products, and I had a goal for the next 12 months that before Christmas 2016, I wanted to be able to walk up Castle Hill. And I conquered that. So that's the photo at the top after I was able to do that. That was a very emotional day, you know, once I made it up the top. And it was really beautiful because I had so many friends and family who did it with me. So it was really nice to experience that with them. So yeah, I just, bad days are rare, but even on a bad day, I try and keep movement going and keep, you know, I'll dance while I'm cleaning. I live in a high set house, so I'll do a couple extra runs up and down the stairs or walk up and down the stairs a bit more. But, you know, I've got that intent that I want to be the best version of me every single day that I can be. So even on a bad day, I'm always trying to do what's best for my body, I guess. And that's just a conscious decision now. I think when you've had your options taken away from you, you start to look at life differently, and you have intention behind everything you do to be the best you can and the healthiest you can. So I definitely do that. We always share our favourite Herbie recipe, whoever's the guest speaker on Results Academy. This has become a bit of a favourite at our local events that we have. So I have to say that I love this sun-dried tomato and capsicum dip. It's so tasty. And I add the protein powder into that. It's great too to put on burgers and things like that, you know, as a not like a sauce, but you know what I mean, to add a bit of extra taste to your burgers. So that's delicious. And here's the recipe. So take a screenshot if you would like to give that a try, but it's so easy. Just chuck it all in and blend it, and voila, there you go, you've got it. So just to touch on the products that I started on. So the 3-day trial pack, so that has your samples of your soy-based meal replacement shake and your tea. So it comes with only the original tea. So that gets you through. You can either do it as a 6-day healthy breakfast or do it for 3 days. But I started and did it on 3 days. Then added in the shake. So that's got, you know, all your minerals that you need, and it's partnered with the multivitamins. So they've basically put the yucky tasting minerals and vitamins into the capsule, so it's quicker to take, and it doesn't make the shakes taste yucky. So the shakes taste amazing, we all know that. So I'm very grateful for Herbalife for thinking about that and putting the yucky bits into the multivitamin. The other thing that I love about this, from all the medications I've been on, this is graded, so you know every capsule you're having, you're getting the same amount of ingredients in each capsule that you take every time, where it can be a bit hit and miss with other ones because they don't grade their products. The aloe, like a shower on the inside, golly gosh, I don't stick to a rule with the aloe. I add it to my water when I take my supplements. I make the Glow Lean mix these days, so I'm adding it to that. I'm loving the grape aloe. I have it just by itself, the grape aloe. I just love it. So I take it all the time. Love the aloe. The teas, I love them too. My favorite thing at the moment is adding the cinnamon tea to my sports F1. I've swapped over to the sports range now, and it goes like a chai latte. Just love it. But you know, we can mix the teas with the aloe and with the active fiber, and that makes our Boom Juice or Glow Lean mix. I think it's been a common theme on all the Results Academies that most guest speakers have used that as part of their regime for reaching their goals. Cellulose, it absolutely helped me reduce that swelling because it's a healthy water eliminator. So, you know, it helps balance the water and move it around to where it needs to be instead of sitting where, you know, and you get that water retention, swelling in the ankles and feet. Probiotic complex, so important to have this. You know, you can break the capsule and put it into your shake. Another thing to do is to break the capsule and put it into your Boom Juice if you want, or your bottle of water through the day. So you're making sure you're getting it when you can. And that's it. That's me done. I'll go back just so we've got a screen up instead of looking at a black screen. So I hope I've been able to give you some tips. I hope I've inspired you not to give up and to just keep going. Ask your coach any questions that you've got, because we're here to help, and there's no silly question, and there's always an answer, a solution to whatever anything that's going on. There's always a solution to it, and like I said, everyone is different, so don't be scared to ask. But that's it. I think, Ralph, I think I've covered everything.
Mate, let me tell you, you were so inspiring. That it's just an incredible story, and you know, I just think I get lost for words. I just think that people need to hear these sorts of stories to understand the hidden benefits of our amazing programs. And I mean, you know, we can sit there and say that our products don't cure things, but it just makes sense that if you feed your body the right nutrition, it takes its care of itself and it moves towards wellness. So, you know, if you're not an example of that, I have no idea. And let me tell you, I still don't know how to make that. I know it sounds all easy, but you know, I'm not one of those guys that kind of like to make up all that sort of stuff. I'll just down my shake and get on with it, have a protein bar. But that, your favorite little thing there, what is it called? The sun-dried tomato thing? Oh my God, that's to die for. I mean, seriously, I don't think that's just your favorite. I think that's the entire bloody Townsville crew's favorite now. So, yeah, look, thank you so much for sharing tonight. And what I'll do is I'll get this up into YouTube so that the whole world can see it, Nat, because I think the whole world needs to see it and see the benefits. But, yeah, thanks so much for sharing tonight. Really, really.
No worries. Hope it helps.
No worries. Well, I'll leave you to it, and we'll stop recording.